So my most viewed video on this channel is doing a 10-minute challenge of trying to turn a little stone into a finished arrowhead. Now, knowing me, I usually start with these massive conchs and I don't end up with a really refined point usually. So how about we take it back to the basics? Use just a spall. I've only flaked into it once here just to see what was in it. And see if we can't make us an arrowhead and kind of have a little talk along the way. So when this reaches 40 seconds, I'll start. 3, 2, I want a different bopper. Let's start with this bopper. Okay, here we go. So the first time I heard about this 10-minute challenge was whenever we had a little get-together called a nap-in. And that's where we flint napped together at a little group. And the one that I went to was down in Florida at Silver Springs, and they had a little 10-minute challenge. And it was 10 minutes to see who could make a point and make the best representation of whatever point style they chose that year. Well, me knowing this and having never done it, I decided to post a video just saying, hey, well, I'm practice doing this little challenge they got. And of course, most of y'all loved it if you've seen that video. But maybe you're new, maybe you don't know about flint napping. Flint napping is basically the process of turning a stone that can conchoidally fracture, now that's the scientific term, but it can break really cool, into a point or blade or whatever you'd like for it to be made from. You can predictably draw a flake off of the stone instead of it just break and not really do what you want it to. And so we often call it the art of flint napping because it is kind of an art. And nowadays we use modern tools. Some still use antler and bone, and you can still use some of those things depending on your preference. You can not only kind of dull the edge, but you can flint nap with it. A stone and even antler. I don't know if I have a good antler nearby. But we got 10 minutes to turn this into whatever we want to. It can be a blade, it can be a little spear point, arrowhead, whatever we want it to be called. And I'm using some chert that came from Georgia, particularly around Albany, Georgia, and the Flint River. In fact, the material is called Flint River chert. Now, this was a piece that I heated up, and usually heat does well for stones. Some stones can't take heat very well, but oftentimes the natives would put it in a little campfire, heat it up, and if they wanted it hotter, they'd put it a little higher up in the ground. And if they didn't want it as hot, they'd put it a little lower. And they found out that, man, that really helps the workability of the stone. So, of course, today sometimes we heat it up. I'm just gonna keep going with it, guys. Sometimes we'll heat it up to make it work a little bit better. And you know what? I want to show the break because sometimes these things happen. They happen for them too. And you just got to kind of work with it and go with the flow. Now we're at about a little under 4 minutes. Starting to work this thing down. We can put a flatter base on it here. And start trying to figure out, well, what point style do I want to make? Now, usually for something this small, usually I make big points. I'm known for making big points, but for something this small, I like to have kind of a sharp tip because it sets it apart from other, little small pieces. I want it to stand out, be really sharp and killer looking. The only question is, do we have the time for it? That's the key. All right, so I'm gonna leave the base about as thick as it already is. Don't wanna draw it in too awful much. Really, I already need a different bopper. Not gonna do any indirect percussion today, just gonna bop the bopping. Let's say we're going for like a Hernando or something. Let's see, do I have a smaller bopper? Can we make a Hernando in, well, a little over 5 minutes? Well, let's see what we can do. Now again, I could just pick up another piece and start working on it, but that would kind of forfeit the point of the video here. So we're thinning this down. And kind of doing it rushingly, so I'm missing a lot of good strikes and not really hitting platforms that are the most ideal. But for the sake of time, just gonna do what we can here. All right, so we already got a decent little tip on it. Shoot back here. I think I want to run the ridge this way. Okay, just flattening out the piece. And y'all don't really get to see me work small stuff very often, so this is a treat for some of y'all. And yes, I'll still do direct percussion if I can. If I'm able to, I will. On something like this, probably good to switch to a little pressure flaker just to make sure everything's working right. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do here. Definitely not the skinniest piece, not the best looking piece whatsoever, but it's not bad. This honestly looks like some of the first Arrowheads that I've ever made. Grab this one here. Is that the indirect? It'll have to work. Just thinning out the base. Obviously, this is the point that would be or the part of the point that would be hafted. And so you don't want that to be super thick. Especially since that's kind of where we want to do our little notches. All right. So working it down, what time are we at? 8 minutes. Oh, our thing shifted. So I have 2 minutes left. What am I gonna do in 2 minutes? Well, I can't do much. I guess we go ahead and put a little makeshift notch in there. It's not going to look pretty, but it'll do the job, I reckon. Okay, let's go here. And get a little bit deeper, maybe. Yeah, there we go. Now, for sake of time, actually, I may call it a little Lafayette. It does look like a little Lafayette point. All right, we just got 1 minute left because we started at 40 minutes, I believe. This is not great at all. But that is a-okay. often the ones that you find in the field aren't super precise looking either. They aren't always, at least. Oh, I gotta hurry up. Won't even get to flake over the other side. Gotta be getting close, guys. On time. We got 6 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right, I might have went a tad bit over. But this thing is very sharp. I'll give it that. Let me put it over here, the dark area where you can see it a little better. You know what? That is okay. That is okay. It's plenty sharp. Not the best thing I've ever made, but that'll kill. Sure will. I think there's a big misconception, well, there is, that if you're, you know, hunting, you need a blade, you know, that's absolutely massive as a spear. But really, you just need something like this, or even smaller, to kill an animal. And I think this would work just fine. There's been plenty of points found just like this down in the deep south. But hope you guys enjoyed just a short little video today. But feel free to check out any of my other videos. And if you need some stone, want some stone, reach out to me. Yeah, I'll catch y'all next video. Peace.